We're joined now on Next by State Representative Lori Saine, Republican from Firestone. Appreciate your time and appreciate the fact that you are drawing attention to an issue that we've talked a lot about on this program in terms of what people should do if they see dogs in cars and they feel like the weather is making them unsafe. You've heard a lot from your constituents about this.
Yes, and I want to say that I think it was your piece that really prompted a lot of this, because people, that education that's coming to the surface about how dangerous and how quickly it can escalate into a very life-threatening situation when we do have a rise in temperature. So I think a lot of that has prompted people to contact me and say, would you please do something about this? It's fundamentally wrong to make sure let me rewind that.
Certainly.
It's fundamentally wrong to make sure we don't protect Good Samaritans who protect others.
There are lots of problems in this world. Why is this one that deserves the attention of the Colorado legislature?
Well, for one thing, we want to make sure that we protect our most vulnerable, and whether that's a member of our family who's an at-risk adult, or somebody who's disabled, or somebody who's a small child who can't rescue themselves. We also elevate our pets as family members, and it's fundamentally wrong. It's an injustice to see a dog or a cat in a vehicle that's suffering when we can do something about it.
Is there any evidence, though, that people are actually being prosecuted for trying to be a Good Samaritan, for smashing a car window to rescue a dog?
We are gathering that evidence right now, but as of right now, there's not a rash of people who are being prosecuted, but at the same time, there's no rational reason not to have a law to protect Good Samaritans.
When we brought this issue up on Next last year, we heard from a lot of people. Millions of folks saw the video. We heard from thousands of them. And I have to say, one thing that I didn't realize until after we brought up the topic is some of the extreme views out there about animals. The number of people who suggested that because I chose not to smash a car window and rescue a dog, that I should die. Do you worry at all that just the existence of a law like this might empower people to become extremists or vigilantes?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question, because there's actually a handful of states that have passed a law with language very similar to this one. And so far, we haven't seen an uprising in vigilantism in any of those states. However, I'm willing to, I want to say the state legislature is willing to trust the people of Colorado to use their best judgment to save a person or an animal in an unsafe situation.
So as your law would lay it out, as your bill lays it out, what you're asking people to judge is whether the person or pet in the vehicle is in imminent danger of death or serious injury. Do you think that the public is qualified to make that judgment?
Well, again, we have a very large bipartisan sponsorship on this bill. So again, back to the trust issue. Yes, we do trust the citizens of Colorado to use their best judgment. And this bill also gives steps for people to follow. You know, for example, making a good faith effort to find the owner of the locked vehicle, to see if they can make an announcement, find that person, bring them out, to contact law enforcement and obey instructions given. So So there's a lot of steps that a Good Samaritan can take. This gives them the steps to save a life.
Sure. And I think the steps are very well reasoned. Make sure that the car is actually locked and that you can't just open the door. Attempt to find the owner. Use only what force is reasonable. Contact law enforcement. Stay on the scene, so forth. Do you think people are actually going to follow the steps, or are they just going to hear in the back of their mind, oh, it's legal for me to smash the window, so I'm going to smash the window?
Well, the other states have passed laws very similar to this one. We haven't seen the vigilantism, so if we find that there's these episodes of vigilantism that come up as a result of the bill, then we can go back to the drawing board and tweak it.
And lastly, I don't know if you've heard, but sometimes legislators will bring bills that they know aren't going to pass, but they want to start a discussion. What are the chances that this can actually pass and get signed by the governor?
Well, with 33 bipartisan sponsors in the House, I think there's a very good chance that this bill will pass this year.
Do you have any idea where the governor is on it?
I don't.
Okay. So what is the best argument that you have heard against your bill? And do you know if there are any groups, perhaps Farm Bureau or agricultural groups, that are going to line up against this?
Well, since we have taken out livestock, I think that preempts, some of the rural districts to say, look, we really don't like this bill because somebody might smash into my horse trailer and steal my horse. So I haven't heard any of those arguments coming forward because I think the language in the bill makes that very clear that we're talking about domestic animals.
All right. State Representative Lori Saine, thank you for your time, and thanks for continuing the discussion on this issue.
Thank you so much, Carl.